So I have been enjoying my time with Pokemon Scarlet and Violet recently. I've even been watching videos on them, and I found one critiquing the Elite Four of the game, and yeah, it's kinda terrible, so let's watch it. I mean, I wouldn't be here if I liked it, would I?
Hey gamers and gaming adjacents, I was gonna make a longer video of a detailed breakdown of Scarlet and Violet, and a deep dive in how crunch culture in the video game industry has once again been hurting the Pokemon games. And I think I'll still make that video, but while I was beating the game, I was dumbstruck, downright enraged with the traditional part of the finale.
Oh wow, that's me with watching this video!
This doesn't even touch on how easy these fights were.
Ah yes, because when I think of Pokemon, I think of being challenged. Despite the fact that the Nuzlocke challenge was created specifically because of how infamously easy Pokemon games are. Oh boy. This is going to be a fun one. Granted, my script checker did bring up how there are fights in the Pokemon games that are considered to be harder than most, like Ultra Necrozma and Champion Cynthia, but like, those are in the minority though. So yeah, I don't know why you're expecting challenge from Pokemon.
Chicken! So that battle is over, and now I'm expecting the worst. To my dismay, Rika calls in the mouth-breathing child. No next room, no like PA or camera system. We're just hollering them over when it's their time, I guess. I have to imagine them just standing expressionless in front of the door, waiting for their turn like a mindless drone. Here we have Poppy. This actual thumb-sucking baby is an elite battler. Is it ever explained how this happened? Hold up, let me check Bulbapedia real quick. Nope, all info we have on them at this point in the game is up to date, which is to say literally zero characterization. No background or explanation at all.
Wow, this is legitimately one of the worst points I've heard in a long time. Oh, the baby has no in-game backstory. Pretty much none of the Elite Four members have in-game backstories, besides characters like Caitlyn and most of the Gen 7 Elite Four, who existed before they were even Elite Four members. Like Karen from the Gen 2 Elite Four is one of the fan-favorite Elite Four members, and her only semblance of an in-game backstory is that she likes to use her favorite Pokemon. Plus, Poppy does actually have a reason to be in the Elite Four, since she's Hassel's granddaughter, and Hassel is also in the Elite Four. You can argue that it's a bad reason, but the reasoning is still there. Also, are we forgetting which series this is? This is Pokémon, a series where the first installment featured a 10-year-old becoming the greatest trainer in his region. And let's not ignore how we've seen characters like Tate and Liza, who are also children, as gym leaders before. Plus, we have seen preschoolers as Pokemon trainers before. So don't give me this crap of, they're too young. Heck, some of the youngest rulers in history have been literal babies. So I just think that you're kind of ageist towards fictional children, not gonna lie. Ageism is one of the greatest problems in America. And, yeah, okay, I can stop with this joke now.
Fuck it, I guess. Alright, mute the sound, bust out the flamethrower, and be done with her. At this point in the game, our character doesn't know who the third/final Elite Four member is, as you've only met 3 of them. Well, surprise, surprise, you have met them. It's the normal type gym leader, Larry. His third job, yes, third, is at the Elite Four using flying types now instead of normal. Larry's gym challenge was the only one I actually had fun doing, but that says nothing to his character. He was the most boring gym leader in the entire game, and arguably the series. I see there are actually some Larry fans around some YouTube comment sections, and all I have to say about that is Pokemon fans will simp for any character.
You know, besides more hated characters like the Gen 6 rivals and Lysander, but please, do tell me more.
It doesn't make sense in the Pokemon world why Larry is the only miserable, overworked person surrounded by happy-go-lucky trainers. This fight doesn't flesh him out either. He doesn't have some sort of sicko mode or face turn. He just looks like he doesn't want to be here, and like, same dude.
Okay, I take that back. Never tell me anything ever again. It's almost like relating to a character is a reason to like them. It's almost like the modern generation has high rates of depression, including myself. Can you tell that I don't want to be here either? Plus, let's not forget that Larry is an office worker, which is considered to be a soul-draining job, especially when compared to other gym leader jobs, like Erica being a gardener, Berg being an artist, or Crash Awake being a wrestler. We have seen office workers characters in Pokemon before, but they merely exist for fighting and gaining experience, and aren't really, characters. Essentially, they are like the Pokemon version of Goombas in Mario games. Plus, are we forgetting about Volkner from Gen 4? A trainer who was literally an emo and had very little excitement until the player character beats him? I could also bring up how a game series like Pokemon doesn't necessarily need logic, how potentially putting more depressed characters in Pokemon doesn't really work for a series targeted towards kids, and how there are several things in Pokemon that don't make sense, so why are you getting hung up on this? But I think I have destroyed this argument already. Bottom line is that I feel like you didn't even try to understand why people like Larry so much.
I see there are actually some Larry fans around some YouTube comment sections,
and I know that is very assumptuous, but honestly, I don't care. Also, this is unrelated, but I think it's funny how Larry in Pokemon reminds me of the Larry in Amazing World of Gumball, since they are both overworked characters named Larry.
Larry isn't the first gym leader to have a promotion like this, but he's the first one to be both a gym leader and an Elite Four member at the same time. And I literally don't know why. Again, no reasoning is given. I feel as if I wouldn't be giving Larry the credit he deserves if I didn't mention this. I swept every single Pokemon these chuckleheads sent out except Larry's Flamigo, because it had Scrappy and O-Code Michael Hengo.
Bruh, I can't believe that you unironically used the cheesesteak Pokemon.
What you know about?
I was looking forward to the 6v6 battle at least. Wait. That wasn't a classic setup. She does have a team of 6. But she opens up with an Esperanza, and my exact thought, both aloud and in my head, was, wait, doesn't this thing suck?
It's currently in UUBL because of its access to speed boost as its hidden ability, as well as stored power. A move that becomes more powerful the more you set up. Also, Opportunist is a decent ability, with it being able to copy your own Pokemon stat boosts. And Lumina Crash is a great signature move, since it's a guarantee in dropping your Pokemon's special attack by 2 stages. It might suck in Gita's fight, but it doesn't really suck overall.
And then she sent out a Go-Go, and an Avalok, and a Villazua. A pattern between these mons dawned on me. They're all under 500 base stat points. And look, I'm not the type of guy who uses only strong Pokemon all the time. I never look down on people who use their favorites. But like, come the fuck on. Under 500 base stats, no hell items. I never mentioned the fact that nobody ever used a healing item in battle, and this is the best trainer around.
Don't use your favorite Pokemon if you're a champion, and your favorites suck. Also, my script checker said that I should 100% point out how awful Swift's explanation is, given he links to a video that does a significantly better job pointing out why her team is so bad. How do you do such a bad job when you have such a prime reference to go off of? Something other than just, oh no, some of her mons have low base stat total. Especially because stat totals are just one part of a Pokemon. Move pools, typing, the actual stat distribution, and abilities are just as, if not more important. Smeargle's base stat total is one of the single worst for a fully evolved Pokemon, but nobody is going to argue that Smeargle is awful because it can learn almost every move in the game. And that's a terrifying feat. And if I can add on to that point, one of my personal favorite Pokemon with bad stats is Azumarill, a Pokemon with an ability called Huge Power, which makes Azumarill's attack stat monstrous. Anyway, back to the script checker. To be fair, Swift, the guy who made the video I'm covering, later brings up the poor ordering, but he severely undervalues it. When using Glimmora last and King Gambit in the middle is one of her more baffling crimes, given Glimmora is a trap center, since her ability sets toxic spikes when hit by a physical attack, so it would be best in the front, and using King Gambit in any spot but last makes it objectively weaker. He doesn't even mention it for Glimmora at all.
I was so pumped when she sent out a real guy, King Gambit. I was using one too, I encouraged the 1v1, and with their ability pumping their stats at the end of a fight, I thought it was getting real heated. But wait, I hear you, maybe saying, that's only 5 Pokemon, what was her 6? I said the same thing, thinking King Gambit would be the perfect signature Pokemon for a champion. To my surprise, our magnificent Gita sent out a Glimmora, which is a strong enough Pokemon, but it felt weird to be her final one, especially because I was expecting someone to use an Armarouge or a Ceruledge. Nobody had used one yet, they were heavily advertised, and they weren't common in the main game. Strong and cool, I was shocked they didn't make an entire character whose whole thing was looking like one of them. Hey, you know who did have one? That fucker I skipped getting here! Yeah, this guy, this dude. I skipped this guy because the guy 100 feet from him had like level 10 Pokemon. He had higher level Pokemon and an Armor Rouge. His team was stronger and more diverse than these guys in the pretty building. Hire this dude, fire the newborn. What were you thinking, Gita?
But aren't the Elite Four members supposed to use monotype teams? Which this guy doesn't do? You can say it's a joke, but there's still a point there.
I was begging her to say JK and give me a real fight. And I was kind of right, because there was one other person with the champion rank that still remained. Our dear friend and best character, Nemona. I wanted to fight her then and there, but we opted for a street fight. And when I stood there in the center of Mezagoza, about to throw down with her, I had never related to a Pokemon character more in my entire life. Nemona was the only student with the champion rank, and she was always holding back against you in your previous fights. She was continuously encouraging you to get stronger. Now having faced against the other strongest trainers in the region, her actions all made perfect sense. Nemona is so interested in you because we're the same. Both someone who trained as hard as we could because that's what we were taught. She climbed the mountain, and she was dissatisfied with the journey. Fighting illiterate children and jaded adults never truly challenged her. When she met someone that she thought might one day rival her, it became her mission to cultivate our growth. Not to patronize us, not to baby us through events, but to make sure we're growing up fast enough to catch up to her.
You literally just pointed out how Champion Gita in the Elite Four sucking works for the game's narrative by praising how Nemona is encouraging you to get stronger when the others failed to do so. Even going to say that this is one of the most relatable Pokemon experiences ever.
I had never related to a Pokemon character more in my entire life.
Do you just hate consistency?
I had a wonderfully fun and close battle with Nemona, feeling actually fulfilled with my Pokemon's growth. After the dust settled, while my mind was thinking about all the things I could have done better in that battle, I forgot Earthworm's ability and I switched in Wugtrio at a bad time, Nemona was also thinking about her next battle. While all the other NPCs groaned at her insistence to keep battling, I was never more down for a rematch in my life. If you've ever lost against Cynthia, or Steven, or Leon, did you ever want to concede and go home? Or did you want to go again? Nemona is the same. Her failures are our losses, and her wins are our victories. There might never be another rival like her, on purpose or on accident, but I'm glad she was with us during the jankiest parts of our journey.
Wow, it's almost like it was supposed to be a better, harder boss than Gita, given how she's the final boss before Area Zero. Also, I find it funny how you criticize Gita for using Pokemon with low base stat totals, then you say that you used a Wugtrio, a Pokemon with a base stat total of only 425, when you criticize her for using Pokemon with under 500 base stats.
And then she sent out a Go-Go, and an Avalok, and a Vilazua. A pattern between these mons dawned on me. They're all under 500 base stat points.
So essentially, you get to use a Pokemon with under 500 base stats, but Gita doesn't get to do that since she's the champion. But oh no guys, Gita has to conform to this arbitrary standard because she's the champion and you're not, even though you are the champion because you beat Nemona with a Wugtrio, might I add. How do you have double standards against a fictional character? How is that even possible?